I'm Larry Menti. This week on Jersey Matters, we're in Trenton as the bill to legalize recreational marijuana fails, but proponents say it's not dead yet. Also, the top sexual assault advocate in the state of New Jersey reacts to the Katie Brennan hearings. And a top athlete and student from New Jersey who got a scholarship to Stanford the right way reacts to the college admissions scam. But first, millions of dollars was allegedly set aside by the governor to increase news coverage in the state of New Jersey. But now the people who are supposed to get the money are saying, what happened? Here's Mike Rispoli, the New Jersey director of Free Press Action. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
First of all, what is Free Press Action?
Free Press Action is a national media and technology advocacy organization that fights for the public's right to connect and communicate. We work on a variety of issues: net neutrality, broadband access, and I run their local journalism project here in New Jersey. And
it was unprecedented that the state would take action to help with news coverage, help with journalism, help with disseminating information within a state. I guess normally it's not necessary.
Yeah, for the past 2 years, we ran an unprecedented campaign that saw the passage of the Civic info bill that would create a public fund where people could apply for grants to support local news coverage in their community. This is the first of its kind in the nation. We think it's a real interesting and innovative way to support news and information and hopefully solve the state's local news crisis.
But the bill right now is just sitting there, and we'll get to that in a second. I just want to back up and talk about the reason such a bill is necessary.
So I think it's no surprise to a lot of people that local news around the country is disappearing. There are thousands of communities that get little to no information about the community where they live in. New Jersey is one of those hardest hit states when it comes to that. New Jersey's always been a print media heavy state with community newspapers in 565 of its municipalities. That they're not there anymore. There are local government council hearings, county government hearings that aren't being covered by local reporters. Without local news coverage, people can't find out basic information about where they live. And that's not just a problem for the journalism industry. It's really a problem for our democracy. Fewer people vote, fewer people volunteer, fewer people run for public office when there's no local news source.
And the reason they count so heavily on newspapers, and I would guess now online information, is because you have a media market in New York and you have a media market in Philadelphia, and they basically obliterate most radio and TV in the state, and all the coverage has to come from them.
That's correct, yeah. So most of the broadcast, that's television and radio media, that covers New Jersey isn't actually based in New Jersey. It's based out of Philadelphia and New York, like you said. And so New Jersey residents have always relied on print media, or more recently, digital media, to find out about what's happening in their backyard, because the out-of-state media outlets can't cover the things that really matter at the local level.
And there's emergency information that has to get out, that doesn't get out. So let's talk about what happened. So now you had overwhelming support in the legislature, in both the Assembly and the Senate. Yeah, overwhelming support. It goes to the governor's office. The governor signs it. And then what happened?
So when the governor signed the Civic info bill in August of last year, he said that even though he was supportive of the bill, the $5 million that he had earmarked in his own budget wasn't actually available anymore. The reason why he gave that was because he said that the funds that he had originally allocated for the Civic info bill, in fact, weren't there anymore. So while he signed the bill into law, while he has been on the record of being supportive of it, he has yet to identify how he intends to provide it the resources that it can be successful.
Isn't that the definition of a meaningless act? I mean, if you sign something and you know it's not going to go anywhere, you sign something knowing that it's not going to happen, what good is that?
I mean, I think it spells, it's creating a lot of uncertainty for the bill. The Civic info bill creates what we're calling the Civic Information Consortium, which is essentially a 501c3 that provides grants for new and innovative local media projects. Its purpose is to give out money. And so if no money is in fact allocated to it by the state, it won't be able to get off the ground. And that would be really really unfortunate thing, because since the governor has signed the bill last August, more newsrooms have closed down, more journalists have laid off. That's creating more harm in communities and people not being able to get the information that they need. Now,
you're a journalist. With a story like this, you go to the problem, and the problem is that the bill was signed and there was no money allocated for it. To sign a bill and say, and thus make it a priority, and then say, no, other things have to take priority, I don't have the money, seems to me like you may be used as a political pawn in something else.
I mean, if that's the case, I'm not sure. New Jersey politics, there's always disagreements, but the governor's office hasn't said as much to us. He hasn't said anything publicly like that. I think we're going to have to wait and see. I think the important thing, though, is to say, while obviously we're disappointed that the governor has yet to find money for it, we have a tremendous amount of support in the legislature, like you mentioned. We've had legislative champions from the start, both from the Assembly and the Senate majority leaders, and we're hopeful that if Governor Murphy isn't going to listen to the thousands of New Jersey residents who have called for him to fund this bill, hopefully he's going to be able to reach an agreement with the majority leaders and legislative leadership to fund it.
So let's say he signs the bill, and tomorrow you get your funding. What will we see? What will we experience? Will there be an immediate increase in news coverage?
I mean, maybe not immediate, but our hope is that this money will be used at the local level in underserved communities, in parts of the state where there is very little news coverage, to create new and innovative local media business models. So for instance, South Jersey has always really been kind of called a news desert. One of the participants of the consortium is Rowan University. You can imagine someone who lives in Gloucester County, where they get no local news coverage, has a really great idea on how to provide news and information where they live. They could partner with Rowan University, receive a grant from the consortium. The university could provide infrastructure, resources, maybe some student journalists to this entrepreneurial journalist. They could start an online news site and then be able to then cover this community. What we're hoping is that even if it's not maybe immediate, that this will at least create this will slow down the local news disappearance that's happening right now in New Jersey, and hopefully be able to support people who have like a really good idea that they haven't been able to get off the ground yet, or programs like this that are doing more coverage, maybe help them be able to reach more people, or other folks who are have a local news startup and just need a little bit more of a financial runway to get something off the ground.
Wonderful. Thank you for coming in. It's a noble cause. Good luck with it. Thank you so much. Mike Rispoli, New Jersey Director of Free Press Action. Jersey Matters continues right after this. Still to come on Jersey Matters, the top sexual assault advocate in the state of New Jersey reacts to the Katie Brennan hearings. That's when Jersey Matters continues.